Hello and welcome everyone to this week's COT review. I'm Thomas from COTbase.com. Today we're going to be analyzing the 21st Commitments of Traders report of 2023. And as usual, we're going to start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials net positions. Before we jump to the review, just a brief reminder for those who are new to COT analysis. Here at COTbase.com, we offer a lot of educational material, not only in written format, but we have some very useful videos as well. These videos can guide you through the analysis process step by step, how to become a better trader and how you can really benefit from this wonderful data. Back to the review, and we shall start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials net positions. We are of course analyzing the legacy data, futures and options combined. Cotton is on top of our list. Based on a 52 weeks look back period, here we have a 25% change in commercials, who are represented with the red line. Their net positions, of course, that's what we're talking about. Now, if you look at the chart, you may see that this change is actually the largest change in the past 1 year. Now, what does that mean? Normally, I would like to see such a change signal in the opposite direction in which the market has been headed in the past couple of days. And as you can see this week, the market has been gradually depreciating. So that being said, doesn't mean that we cannot continue on this path, but I think it's something to consider. I do like let's say a bullish COT change signal just when this decline is over. This wasn't the case, by the way, but if we had a magnitude similar to the one that we have this report, then of course that would have been a much better situation. Now, of course, we can go on to the 5-year chart and examine the stress level in this market. As you can see, for the past quite a bit of time, we have been in a bullish territory. So as the market has gone down, we are witnessing a bullish COT Extreme. Now, how big is that? Well, even on the 5-year chart, you can see that there is actually space for traders to reach even greater bullish levels. So we'll see if that happens. We do talk about relative bullish extreme, so I would not wait for always an all-time or close to all-time COT Extreme in order to state that the trend is going to change. Even such an increased level of bullish stresses in the market. Now, of course, this is comparative, right? So we are measuring this on a 5 years look back period as we're speaking. We can, of course, witness what was a bearish COT Extreme in cotton in the past. We're way away from those levels. So we're still in more of a bullish extreme zone. If this trend that we are witnessing right now in commercials net positions continues, then of course we would expect the market to start moving higher. The Japanese yen is our next market for this review. Here we have a 17% change in commercials net positions. You can see the change size over there. It is larger than average, but nothing huge. We have seen greater changes in the past. The good news, though, is here we can see an example what I was just talking about in the case of cotton. So we do see the market going down since March, and having a bullish COT change signal is suggesting we may see a bit of a rise in the next few days. You should compare the change size to previous changes. I know it's the second on the list, but that in itself doesn't necessarily mean that much, because of course each market is different, and this is data that is not derived from price. So would I be jumping in buying? Definitely not on this signal alone. I may open up the iCOT Intraday Indicator and get some support from that. We will be looking on one market in this review. But that's something I would do. And of course, if we have multiple signals pointing in that direction, then we can of course consider the fact we have this slight bullish COT chain signal. Now moving to the 5 years chart, we are witnessing a gradual increase in the bullish stress level in this market. We have seen greater bullish extremes in the past. Probably the one from October is the nicest because that's the one that actually put the bottom in over here in the Japanese yen. If this trend were to continue and we could see an even lower bottom in the Japanese yen, then of course I would expect traders to start changing their net positions accordingly, which would result in a significant bullish extreme. We shall see what happens. But that was Japanese yen. The next market is rough rice. Here we have a 16% change in commercials net positions. Let's switch to the 1 year chart. Here we go. So as you can see, we are talking about a bullish COT chain signal. It is, of course, time is going to tell whether or not we see a reaction, but it seems to me that rough rice has been trading in between some important price levels. You can see an example here reaching a support zone combined with a bullish COT chain signal. What has happened then, and we do see a similar example again and again. Whether or not this is going to push the market higher, I don't know, but nevertheless it is a change in commercials net positions that is larger than we usually see. Moving on to the 5 years chart, you can witness the stress levels in this market, rough rice. And if you take our current reading, you can see that we have moved away from those very, very strong bearish extremes. We are definitely far away from anything bullish, so that's not the case. I would say it's mainly the COT chain signal this week that could affect rough rice, if anything. Moving on to large speculators COT Extreme analysis, we have a currency on top of our list with an all-time COT Extreme. South African Rand, both in commercials and in large speculators, we have that all-time extreme. That means basically throughout the entire history, COT history of this market, we have never ever seen traders at these levels. Now, the tricky thing with the South African Rand is officially we have been gathering data from 2010, but as you can see, there was not much happening up until, let's say, 2017, right? So I'd be cautious to jump on that right away. And as I've just said in previously, I would combine this reading, the bullish stress level, with the iCOT Intraday Indicator, whether or not it can help us. And here we have, let me just switch over to a 4-hour candlestick chart, because that I would say is a more wider time frame. And you can see that throughout, and of course this is the inverse, this is the US dollar South African Rand currency pair, whereas this is the South African Rand measured in US dollars. But luckily, COTbase.com does offer the ability to switch the charts, so you will see the currency pair and then of course the reversed commitments of traders charts underneath. So now you have the same price chart as we have in TradingView right now. So you can see that the support for the US dollar against the South African Rand is present. It is definitely supported. We have some significant bullish stripe signals throughout the market on this 4-hour candlestick chart. We do have one little stripe signal over here, a bearish stripe signal. And as you can see, it has been confirmed. We have received a sell from the AfterSignal. I would be cautious when there's such a very clear trend in the market. Nevertheless, things are seeming to be shaping up right now. So I do suggest considering following trend signals. They seem to be more profitable, as you can see. By the way, the iCOT Intraday Indicator, of course, can be used on very short time frames. This is how the 1 hour candlestick chart looks, and you can, of course, go down into the micro time frames. Just a second here for those who are new to this service. We are a COT base, of course, focused on the commitments of traders report. The past couple of years, we have spent a ton of energy and time on developing an indicator that mimics classic COT analysis. So if you're somebody who enjoys the value of stress level analysis coming from the commitments of traders report, then I think you would be interested in the iCOT Intraday Indicator. We do have a lot of explanation charts and videos, and the chart that I'm showing to you right now is the iCOT Intraday Indicator with AfterSignal. AfterSignal, basically a tool that filters out a bunch of signals for us. So I think it's a very helpful tool. You can see example over here, for instance, on this 1 hour candlestick chart, we are getting readings, but we do not enter the market until it has been confirmed by the AfterSignal. So that's what the AfterSignal does. Back to the review. Let's continue on with our last two markets. Feeder cattle, where we have a 284 report extreme in large speculators. I'm just going to close this settings tab here so we have a much nicer and wider chart. We, of course, left South African Rand with a total history. I can just show you that. In case of feeder cattle, we show you data going back to 1995. So we are very proud to be one of the very few services who provide entire COT history. So feeder cattle, we have a significant bearish COT extreme in the market. It's unquestionably there. Nevertheless, these stress levels can increase for weeks before we actually see the market react. It's just good to know in the back of our mind that there's something in the report suggesting we may not see feeder cattle continue its rise for too long. And last but definitely not least, we have soybean oil with a 209 report extreme. You can see it on the chart. Not only do we have large speculators at an extreme, but the commercials as well. On this 5-year chart, you can see that this has not happened too many times in the past 5 years. We're happy to see this bullish extreme coming when the market has came down. Again, it's not a tool that's going to pinpoint the exact moment the trend is going to turn, but it does signal stress level building up on the bullish side of things. There's a lot more to do here at cotbase.com. Of course, we do not show all the market categories in the reviews. You can definitely look at newer COT report types, other data types, any specific data set that you have in mind. You can go deep into analyzing the markets with COT index, the COT move index. We offer long-term trend indicator, volume and open interest scores. And of course, if you want to dig into a specific market, you can do that. We talked about the South African Rand. Here we go. That's the South African Rand. If you are a pro member, you have the ability to actually download the data. Data download offers you that ability. And of course, as I mentioned, we have some very useful indicators as well. The COT-based Pro offering you all the tool sets that you see on the website in NinjaTrader, and then the wonderful iCOT Intraday Indicator on NinjaTrader and TradingView. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this review. I wish you guys a wonderful weekend, and I'm hopeful that you will join me in my next COT review. Take care. Goodbye.